Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTN News 24. We are live in Abuja. I am Chinenye Ngoye. First, let's bring you the headlines. Celebrating Nigeria at 65, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Judge Akume, inaugurates Inter-Ministerial Committee. '27 elections, Independent National Electoral Commission labels premature campaigns major security threat. Unfettered access to nutritional foods, federal government targets all year-round farming policy. In a moment from now, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare will commence its high-level dialogue on big push against malaria in the country. Let's now join our health correspondent Uche Ugochukwu, who is at the venue to give us more insight. Hello, Uche. Good morning. Please tell us, what is happening at the venue?
Good morning, Chinenye. We are right here in Abuja Intercontinental Hotel, venue for the Big Push Malaria program going on today. Here in the hall here we have stakeholders in the fight against malaria, all coming from all across Africa. We know very well the devastating impact of malaria has been bearing a brunt in Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, and Nigeria. It's top on the ladder. Several efforts have been put in place, and even though for some years now Nigeria has been experiencing reduction in malaria case rates, but as the experts in the room said, it is not enough. So they are here in Nigeria, Abuja, to discuss more on the avenue, on ways, of course, to strengthen efforts in the fight to eliminate this scourge by 2030, which is the target. And this initiative, the Big Push, was a campaign by ministers across Africa to, accelerate efforts in this fight. And here with me is the National Coordinator of Malaria Control and Elimination in Nigeria, Dr. Nena Obolafo. She's here to shed more light on the program. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. So, just like it has been said, the African leaders are here in Nigeria. It's the big push to eradicate malaria in Africa. So, it's a continent meeting that we're having here today, and they have thought that the Nigerian leadership, being led by the Honorable Coordinating Minister of Health, Professor Mohammed Ali Pati, have been doing a whole lot of good job, which is coming from, of course, our president's agenda on health. So the whole world, especially focusing on African continent, is here to discuss malaria again. And so the big push for elimination of malaria or eradication of malaria in Africa has the theme harnessing Africans' role, a central role for the big push on malaria. So that's the theme. So like I said, we have ministers of other countries from different parts of the continent.
So, sorry, our viewer want to know the incidence of drug-resistant malaria has been persistent in Nigeria. How can this big push help in to reduce that?
So the big push, like the push is looking at no aspects is going to be left behind. Every aspect in terms of intervention, starting from the preventive to the curative, because there are a lot of interventions that are there for preventing. There are also a lot of interventions that are there for curative, that is the diagnosis and the treatment. And then, of course, the behavioral change, which comes across as a cross-cutting. It's all part of what the big push is looking at. So because everybody will have to, all of them will have to come together as one, holistic, for us to be able to push the needle across.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nena. And this meeting is going to span through tomorrow, which at the end, Africa, of course, and Nigeria is on the way to eliminate malaria. Thank you. It's back to studio.
Many thanks, Uche Ugochukwu, for that report. Ahead of Nigeria's 65th anniversary, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has inaugurated an interministerial committee to plan and execute activities marking the independence celebration. The SGF notes the occasion is not just about celebrating the past, but shaping the future. Shehu Mohammed Dati reports.
Representatives from government ministries, departments and agencies gathered for a historic meeting ahead of Nigeria's 65th anniversary on October 1st, 2025. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Committee Chairman charged members to uphold prudence, accountability and dedication for a successful celebration.
This anniversary is not just a date on the calendar. It is a reminder of where we're coming from, acknowledgement of where we are, and a vision of where we are going from here. As a nation, we are first challenged in some areas and we have overcome them.
The anniversary lineup includes a World Press Conference, Jumu'at and church service, public lecture, and presidential broadcast.
We intend to celebrate in grand style the birth of our nation, the struggles, the victories, our resilience, and to renew the underlying hope that we all share as citizens of this great country.
A TV series was unveiled at the SGF's office, kickstarting the 65th anniversary activities. In Abuja, Shehu Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
And to politics now. Premature campaign ahead of the 2027 general election is a major security threat and a dangerous signal that must be addressed through Constitutional and Electoral Act amendments. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu and Professor Atahiru Jega raised the concern at a roundtable organized by the Electoral Institute in Abuja. Mie Ogidi reports.
16 months to the February 20, 2027 general election, and campaigns expected to start 5 months to the polls, but election mood already activated. Campaigns not on major city podiums, but in ways that beat the Electoral Act. Premature campaigns, mostly through third party. Some of the best brain in the nation's electoral system meeting here at the Electoral Institute, Abuja. One agenda, addressing the challenge of early campaigns. The question is, who is to blame?
Ironically, some of these elected and appointed public officers are responsible for the premature campaigns.
Again, what constitutes a campaign? When the government is commissioning a project and it praises himself, and when the opposition too organizes their own rally to oppose any program of the ruling government, is that also a campaign? When you don't know people that are doing many posters on your behalf, so who do you hold liable? Is the party or the person?
This question exposes some weak sections of the electoral legal framework, and this masks Mahmood's mood in acting to address the situation.
The major challenge for the Commission is the law itself. Sections 94(2) and 3 of the Electoral Act imposes sanctions who engages in campaign 24 hours before polling day. However, there is no sanction whatsoever in respect of breaches for campaigns earlier than 150 days. And here lies the challenge for the Commission in dealing with early campaign by parties, prospective candidates, and their supporters.
Like an elder brother, Professor Atahiru Jega, once on the hot seat as the #1 man of INEC, offers some recommendations.
All candidates and their parties, and especially incumbent office holders and their political parties, should be vicariously held responsible and penalized for premature campaigns for them by third parties. EFCC and ICPC should pay special attention to third-party campaigners and thoroughly interrogate their sources of funding.
While the anti-graft agencies carry out their operations to curb premature campaigns, amendment of the Electoral Act and the Constitution remain the permanent solution. Mie Ogide, NT News.
In another development, INEC has reaffirmed its commitment in developing the skills and competencies of its workforce to effectively carry out its national mandate. Secretary to the Commission, Mrs. Rose Orianria Anthony, emphasized this while receiving a delegation from the Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM, at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. The visit, led by the President and Chairman of the Council of the Nigerian Institute of Management, Chartered Commodore Abimbola Ayuba, retired, marked a renewed commitment to deepening collaboration between the two institutions, particularly in the area of capacity building and professional development. Commodore Ayuba noted the alignment between the core values and vision of INEC and those of NIM, underscoring the relevance of the visit in fostering synergy and mutual growth. And from politics to agriculture, the federal government's adoption of all year-round farming as a policy is to enable Nigerians to afford and have access to nutritional foods. Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, said this at a capacity-building workshop for members of the Senate Press Corps. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Task is to provide citizens with information that they need for effective participation in civic affairs.
The minister is here to join others for paper presentation on the topic parliamentary reporting, issues, challenges and responsibilities. But he used the opportunity to highlight efforts of government in meeting the most basic need of Nigerians.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's vision for Nigeria is for us to have what we call food sovereignty, which means we should have sufficient food produced by our own citizens, consumed by our own citizens, such that our path dependent, if you want to call it that, to other sources is minimal.
He also said challenges in the food value chain, like post-harvest loss and the high cost of transportation, are being tackled, while a health scheme for Nigerian farmers will be launched soon. He urged journalists to join hands with government in driving the successful implementation of all policies. The capacity-building workshop provided a platform to remind practitioners, especially those on the legislative beat, to always report with clarity.
Democracy thrives only when Parliament and the press operate a responsible synergy. Parliamentary reporting is not simply another newsroom assignment. It is a sacred democratic duty.
The parliamentary reporter is the institutional memory of the legislature, and their experiences are meant to guide incoming and seasoned legislators on precedents and how not to conduct businesses either in plenary, committees, oversight hearings, and indeed diplomatic engagements involving the National Assembly.
The workshop aims at improving skills of participants for effective reporting of the constitutional mandate of the National Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
A report from the office of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, says until the common man stops complaining, leaders in the country must continue to work to address their concerns. She stated this during the third quarterly meeting of RHI state coordinators, where she unveiled a national competition, Renewed Hope Initiative Green Nigeria Challenge, to promote clean and green environment across the country. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
State coordinators and other foot soldiers of Renewed Hope Initiative are here again for their high-level quarterly meeting, the third for the year. This time, their brief revolves mainly around the launch of Green Nigeria Challenge, a national competition designed to promote green and clean environment which the national coordinator of RHI and Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu unveiled at the meeting. Divided into 3 categories, the competition will see households in 11 frontline northern states participating in tree planting with a 20 million naira cash prize to be won.
I discovered that some households do have trees, but they are not many, and they need that coverage to curb desertification.
Other 2 categories at communities and state levels will address key environmental concerns, including plastic waste disposal.
Community category, open to all youth groups, NGOs, CBOs, whoever, to plant trees and clean up degraded areas. The prize money for this group of youth is 50 million. And then the state category, tree planting and also turning a state into a green state. We visited Enugu. They are exempted from the competition. They are designated as a model green state with a cash prize of 100 million.
She announced upcoming events, including the launch of Flow with Confidence campaign, slated for October 2nd and 3rd in Gombe State.
I have 200,000 naira each to 250 persons living with disability across the 36 states and FCT. And this will come to a total of 9,250 persons to benefit. 10 digital economy centers fully furnished with ICT equipment to be virtually commissioned in the following states: Abia, Delta, Edo, Lagos, Nasarawa, Ondo, Kano, Katsina, Yobe, and Zamfara. The Environment Club for senior secondary school students, because it involves them going around the state to clean up. And the Environment Society for students in university and tertiary institutions.
The thing to keeping the state clean is not just by giving instructions, it's also by being very proactive in what he's been doing. It's more like seeing things, picking it up, like moving around, going on inspections. So that has actually helped greatly in making Enugu State clean.
We're very grateful to Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for all these tireless efforts and bringing all these innovations to bear in all the states. And we're trying our best to make sure that it gets to the grassroots.
The First Lady called on RHI state coordinators to redouble their efforts in ensuring that more Nigerians benefit from ongoing interventions in their states. From the villa to their various states, another seed of empowerment sown, and from planting a green garden to co-creating green communities, the desire of Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu to promote climate-friendly environment is again taking off on the back of a national competition, the Green Nigeria Challenge. Like others before it, the competition offers Nigerians at states and community levels the incentives to plant trees, fight deforestation, and ultimately build greener tomorrow. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We'll take a break here. There will be more reports when we return. Just stay.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
This is NTA News 24.
Many thanks for staying on. In the fight against malnutrition, accountability is key. This is why the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning is sharpening its tools to ensure every naira speaks to the needs of Nigerians. A high stakeholders workshop in Abuja brought together the stakeholders who will make it happen. Correspondent Ibrahim Dan Hamidu has the story.
Nutrition remains central to national development. Yet, underfunding and misallocation often slows down progress. This workshop seeks to change that by equipping trainers with skills to track, tag, and monitor nutrition allocations across ministries, departments, and agencies.
And this is to avoid duplications, for us to know who is responsible to implement those plans that have been captured.
The ministry says the initiative aligns with global best practices in accountability and is part of Nigeria's commitment to scale up nutrition interventions nationwide.
I think one of the few things is that it helps us to be able to track and identify nutrition activities in the budget.
If we don't tease out what really constitutes nutrition for our people to consume, then we are not there yet. It's not just the question of left hand, bringing in money, bringing on money, like people are asking maybe in the Federal Ministry of Health, give us money, give us money. But how many people are demanding for health services? So we need to also look at the demand side, not just the supply side.
By building a team of master trainers, government hopes to institutionalize a nutrition-sensitive budgeting, ensuring that policies translate into healthier outcomes for millions of Nigerians.
The issue of malnutrition, especially in some northern states, is very disturbing. And it's the major reason why we are having a lot of crises.
Based on the theme of the workshop, to acquaint participants with the processes of budget tagging in relation to nutrition, as well as monitoring of the financial flow.
To mobilize the resources, allocate it, and then release.
With this workshop of training the trainers, the ministry is not just raising awareness. It is laying the foundation for accountability in nutrition financing. In Abuja, I am Ibrahim Ahamidu, NTA News.
A report from the Confluence State has it that the Kogi State government has commended the swift response of security agencies and local hunters, which led to the rescue of 17 passengers kidnapped along the Lokoja-Obajana road. A statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Faunwo, says the victims were freed following prompt intervention of the Nigerian Army and local hunters who pursued the abductors and ensured the safe release of all passengers. The rescued victims have since been taken to medical facilities for examination and care. The government also expressed deep concern over the reported attack on security operatives in Yabwa West local government area, which resulted in the death of some police officers, and expressed condolence to the families of the slain officers. Faunwo noted that Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has reaffirmed his administration's determination to rid the state of criminal elements, assuring that personnel and security equipment are being deployed to strategic locations to restore security. He called on citizens to cooperate with security operatives by providing timely and useful information, stressing that the perpetrators of the attacks will be brought to justice. The Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, warns that tackling poverty and driving real development at the grassroots will remain a challenge as long as local government councils face oppression and marginalization. The union's leadership gave this position after a meeting in Abuja where it issued a communique on pressing issues affecting its members and local government administration nationwide. Joseph Osen reports.
It's been over a year since the Supreme Court granted financial autonomy to local government councils, but the implementation of that judgment remains elusive. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, says ignoring the ruling only embodies other tiers of government to continue suppressing the councils.
This undue delay undermines the principles of democracy and denies the people at the grassroots numerous inherent benefits associated with autonomy of local government administration.
Leadership of the union highlights recent developments like seizure of Osun State local government allocations, the demolition of Norge's National Secretariat in Lugbe, Abuja, and alleged interference by political appointees in Anambra State as some of the operations of the local government authority.
The NEC therefore calls on the federal government of Nigeria to urgently intervene in the Osun State political crisis and to ensure the immediate restoration of the seized allocations in the interest of peace, justice, and sustainable development. The recent demolition of the Norge National Secretariat building under construction at Lugbe, the action has disrupted the legitimate effort of the union to provide befitting administrative infrastructure for effective service delivery to its members nationwide.
Leadership of Norge is also raising concern over delay in implementation of minimum wage in some states, warning that such setbacks remains counterproductive. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
As Nigeria joins the global community to mark the 2025 World Suicide Prevention Day, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is set to propose an executive bill aimed at decriminalizing attempted suicide. The move is part of a broader strategy to strengthen suicide prevention efforts through a framework grounded in human rights, compassion, and public health principles. In this report, Oluseye Adeabo examines the implications of treating individuals with suicidal thoughts or behaviors as criminals and outlines the urgent actions needed to address the root causes of mental health disorders in Nigeria.
2025 World Suicide Prevention Day is themed Changing the Narrative on Suicide, a global call to move away from a culture of silence, shame, and stigma towards one of understanding, compassion, and meaningful support. Mental health advocate Awao Ojifo knows the journey all too well. In her late 20s, she survived a suicide attempt.
For me, first, it was recognizing and sharing publicly that as a person with a mental health condition who has attempted suicide, this is what my experience is like. It can be confusing for me as an individual to share, but it's also hard for other people to understand when I do share. And then people say, oh, speak out. To who? When I speak out or when other people speak out, they are met with judgments and shame.
According to the World Health Organization, suicide remains a public health challenge, claiming more than 200,000 lives each year. Nigeria currently ranks 7th among countries with highest suicide rates globally, a sobering reality that buttresses discussions at this stakeholders meeting in Abuja. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is leading this renewed push for suicide prevention, including plans to decriminalize attempted suicide.
Depression is real, and very soon the coordinating minister will present a memo to the Federal Executive Council to propose an executive bill for the decriminalization of attempted suicide. Because somebody attempts suicide, it's a mental health issue. Why are you putting the person in prison? Why are you locking the person up? You're not helping the person. What the person needs is care.
Most mental health conditions usually tend to fall within the mild, moderate ranges. Only a very few proportion of the population ends up really severe. And so, to what I would recommend to most Nigerians is smile at your neighbor. If someone has a problem, say something nice. A listening ear.
Awao Ojifo now smiles with hopes as key stakeholders brainstorm on strategies to shift the national conversation. In Abuja, Oluseye Adeabo, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Many thanks for watching. I am Chinenye Goye.